Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Who is introducing?
All right. So today is a pleasure and honor for we all here to listen to Sister Chriselle, who has the duty to present this book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind by Dr. Georgia Aid. So, Dr. Chriselle, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here.
Yeah.
I am presenting today. Um, I don't know why I cannot see my screen. Um, shoot. It's sure what? Okay, great. Okay, now I see what I'm sharing. Yes. Status. I see. Hi. All right. So today, sorry about that. I'm sorry about wasting almost 10 minutes of our time today, and I'll be quick. The book is very condensed. It's a change your diet, a powerful plan to improve mood, overcome anxiety, and protect memory for lifetime for optimal mental health. Is written by Georgia Edie. She's a medical doctor. A little bit about the author. Dr. Edie earned her BA in biology from Carleton College in Minnesota. She worked for 7 years as a research assistant in biochemistry, wound healing, and diabetic research. Um, she earned her MD from the University of Vermont College of Medicine. She completed her psychiatric residency at the Cambridge Hospital, which is also affiliated to the Harvard Medical School in 2002. She's a certified psychiatric and she is recognized for specializing in what we often call nutritional psychiatry and metabolic psychiatry. So today we're going to dive into her book a little bit about everything she wrote. The book was wrote in section. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like there was four section, and she pretty much had a very pretty detailed um, concept and explanation in each of them. I'm gonna really talk about the overall my intake from the book, and then each of us can add on to it. So, key takeaway: diet and brain health are deeply connected. Most of the time, when we think about diet, we think about the heart, we think about the kidney, we think about whatnot. But the brain is something that we really don't associate with nutrition. Another thing that I found um, very fascinating is how she was able to include a lot of psychiatric diseases, mental health associated with brain, and how what we decide to include in our daily diet can really help us define and really conquer some of these um, psych diseases, including just simple things as anxiety. So Dr. Edie argued that dietary choices don't just influence physical health, they directly affect brain metabolism, mood, cognition, and long-term memory. The food we eat is literally the chemical building block of the brain, which is protein. Um, she also said that conventional health eating guidelines may be misleading. She challenges many mainstream nutritional beliefs, example, high grain, high legume, low fat diet, superfood, um, blanket plant based endorsement saying that they often lack strong evidence when it comes to the brain health. She went into much details about how much of the uh, um, work that was done to prove that plant-based legume fruits may not be necessarily what it is good for us. Uh, she talked much about metabolic dysfunction, especially insulin resistance, is a major threat to the brain. When your body's signaling is in, your brain may not get enough fuel. So she links insulin resistance to mood disorder, cognitive declines. And when we talk about cognitive decline, we're talking about starting to forget things and pre-Alzheimer's, pre-dementia, and degeneration disorders too. She talked and advocated for ketogenic a low carbohydrate approach when uh, to approach to have therapeutic potential for mental health by shifting the brain from relying on primary on glucose to use ketosis. Aid present cases and mechanism reasoning supporting which is low carb diet in certain psychiatric concept. She really thinks that ketogenic diet is low in bread, low in flour based stuff, much high in in meats, in things that are high protein to really help the brain have the energy that it needs to do everything. And she did explain that, anything that is good for our brain is good for our heart, is good for our kidney. So there's no differentiating most of the time with that. She has some hard concept about um, eating vegetables. She said we need to learn to know our body too, not because the fruit is good doesn't mean fruit is good for everyone or every single type of fruits is good for everyone. So really she's trying to squeeze squeeze us into one direction, but she's also telling us to use our judgment, how we feel about food, really, not to just eat to eat. We talked about animal-based food supply, essential brain nutrients that comes from that sometimes are overlooked. She emphasized on nutrition like B12, iron, DHA, and others. Um, Many easily obtained from animal source and suggests deficient or poor availability in nutrition may harm brain health. She talked about processed food, defined carbohydrate, and sea oil are particularly damaging. She talked about vegetable oil not being the best because our brain is not able to really convert that into the energy that our brain needs to really give us the most nutrient to do what it does at the best. So the book also highlights ultra processed food, excessive defined carb, and industrial seed oil contributing to inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic disruption, which overall hurts the brain health. She talked about quiet diet, personalizing dietary strategy. She said one of the practical work frame um, is what she calls the quiet diet. Is an approach, a stage, individual path. It goes for paleo to keto to carnivore, that enables people to try less restrictive to more restrictive option, monitor how they feel, perform, and adapt to version that best support the brain and metabolic health. And this is can be something that is personalized. She's helped in her many studies. She helped people really define, even when you talk about keto diet, define what is good for them, because not everything that a keto diet person may not be the best for the other. So she's really trying to help us personalize our diet too. Media version has a lot of uh, um, a lot of stuff that you can even write in it to kind of personalize your diet to yourself. Um, so she criticized nutrition um, for being inadequate to establish cause and effect, especially the brain and mental health. What we have learned for many years that, okay, this is the good thing. Eat less carb, eat more fruit and vegetable may not be the case necessarily. We need to study ourselves. We need to know that high sugar does not help our brain. She doesn't so much talk about salt. She really emphasizes on the high salt. I mean high sugar, because that's what really drives the nutritional market here in the United States too. She argues cases study in early clinical application of ketogenic diet in treatment-resistant psychology condition as supportive evidence that diet is a serious tool for brain health. Um, why does this matter to you and I? A scientific judgment for why what you eat affect not just body but mind. This is what she's showing us, and particularly, it makes a lot of sense because um, uh, in the past few months, I almost got put on a antidepressant medication. But, knowing what I learned in school about antidepressant medication, I say, hell no. I was telling my counselor, you know what, I want to wait to see if I can establish myself and my environment, maybe what I eat, how would that help me? And really, we have seen a lot of changes with a little bit of change I made to my food, also trying to clear my mind, do some mental health stuff. Really, there's no need for psych medication. Some people, I guess, when it comes to some points, there may be a need because there's cases in cases. So, but I think for the daily American anxiety, inability to sleep, some doctors are very quick on the antidepressant medication, but it brings more harm to the patient than good. Imagine her, she's really going against the norm of her in her field. She's telling people, really, we have what it takes with the little help of education, what is good for the brain. We can help we can help ourselves with a lot of mental health issues. She talks about dementia. She talks about schizophrenia. She talks about simple anxiety that can go, and when we talk about anxiety, it can go from green to red. There's just the spectrum is so wide. So she's telling us, really, let's take a step back we were doing so good many years ago, but there's so many information, loaded information. You hear this today, you hear that tomorrow. Let's come back to what our body can do for ourselves. She even talked against some of the multivitamins. She said your body is so amazing if you can feed it the right stuff, because we all eat. You feed it the right stuff, it's going to do the right thing for you. So I completely agree with her. It's true, she's hardcore on some stuff. She even criticized manioc. What do we call it? They call it yoga here. Anyway, she criticized that. She criticized eating that because she says it has some high oxidation in it. It's not really good for the brain, but that's what me and my husband, we eat most of the time here. So we really I guess you never stop learning. This is an opportunity for all of us to see what we can do better in our diet for our brain. Because if you don't have a brain, you don't have a you ultimately don't have a body. So it is an eye opener to me. And when I think about this, I think about, oh, okay, it's the same thing. Like maybe I'm gonna say 10 years ago, I used to exercise so much my body, but not my brain. I don't do self-care. I don't take care of myself mentally. And that now these days have become even sometimes even more important, because when you're doing those stuff, your body ultimately aligns with other stuff. So this is another concept like to me. With that, I'm going to end my presentation and let the moderator take over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you got the outstanding ovation from the floor. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
guys.
presentation. And as usual, the floor is open. Anyone want to get in? For the first speech, let's go for 3 minutes, no more than, okay? And then we get more time, we can talk again. Thank you. You have the floor open. And, on your behalf, I congratulate Chriselle for the presentation. Personally, I won't have that much to say because she covered like almost all of my notes. So, but the floor is open. Contribution or question for her? Okay,
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah.
First of all, I had to thank Christelle for her presentation, and that would be an affront if another person present this book because it's her field. She was swimming as if is a fish. So we thank you for that, and definitely it was great presentation. And also we had to thank the person who suggested the book. And first of all, I think the book could be really advisable to any doctors. Even you have your own doctor, you can buy this book and go and give to them. Because she rip off all the nonsense that they were telling us. She go like the fake oils. Why is it fake? Because we are not adapted to digest that. And also what they are using to extract that oil from, which is hexane. Hexane is from petroleum. And when we say petroleum, you cannot go to your car and say, let me take some petroleum gas and start drinking. But it's what we are doing by taking those fake oil. And anyone come to my house and see olive oil, they'll say, "Oh, why are you using that? You can use this one; it's cheaper." Yeah, really is almost 3 times the price. But if you take care of your health, you think about that too. So the yucca, I think, is a cassava, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is a cassava. Now I want to go to another point that I realized that from how I realized 2 weeks ago. if everyone knows me, they know that I always have a red eyes most of the time, or when I'm tired, I'm having red eye. Not knowing that I'm thirsty. As one book, I suggest the book. It says, "You are not sick, but you are thirsty.
Mm.
You are not sick, but you are thirsty." What happened? Everyone knows me that I draw, but the way I was drinking was not good for my body. I was just drinking, and maybe 10 minutes later, I'll go and pee because it doesn't stay in your body. And when you are having that issue, it's advisable that you put some salt in your water before you drink it. And by putting salt in the water, you force the water to stay in your body, especially when you don't eat sugar anymore. As soon as you don't eat sugar anymore, there's no more sugar in your body to retain the water. So when the water comes in, you might feel thirsty, but when the water comes, it goes straight. And that is very, very, very important. Why? Because we are composed, our body is composed approximately of 60% of water. 60% of water. So if you don't take care of that one, you might be taking care of any other things which are not very, very high, and you are not going to succeed. And the nice thing about what I found out by the way I'm drinking now, I'm no longer having a body ache. I'm no longer having headache. My eyes are no longer red, and I'm no longer getting hungry all the time. So that's very, 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 very important that I want to share with everyone here. Because if we put the body composition in order, we have 60%, around 60% of water, 20% of
70%.
20% of protein, and 12% of fats. So even the sugar that they are feeding us is not very important in our body, but they are feeding us that damage all the cells in our body. So we have to take care of that. And I suggest the book, You Are Not Sick, but You Are Thirsty. And on that, thank you for the group. Thank you for this book. I didn't know that it will change my mind the way I read this book. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah, like Beyond used to say, who want to go next?
Well, I have just I would love to go, but I do have a couple of questions to for Christelle. But first of all, thank you so much for the book, for the presentation. Okay, and I also thank dearly whoever suggested the book. This was a gift and an indirect advice to everyone. As one of the panel member was saying, yes, it deserves to be given to each of our medical, a counselor. And Christelle brilliantly presented it. Luckily, it's from her field, and we can see how comfortable she was, even though she started quite late. So thank you very much for your nice presentation. Yeah, my question is, I have so many, but I just wanted some your insight about the three final diet advice that she has given. I wouldn't like you necessarily to go in depth on each of them, but based on your own experience and then struggle with adjustment to diet and then weight control, what have you decided to go with in a nutshell?
Um, the book went into a lot of details. So, for a personal diet, I was thinking I may have to go through some of her graph to really see. I know she said keto diet. So maybe look into that, what a and get some of those ingredients and cure of she talks about sugar and carbohydrate. I think our body can sometimes use like quinoa. If you eat quinoa, that's a type of carbohydrate that needs to probably be installed into your diet because our brain do need some kind of carbohydrate, but the good type, maybe the oil too. Things that my mind is picking that I can change in my diet. Um, what we really eat when it comes to fruits too. Instead of just eating fruit to eat fruit, you have kind of study your body, how you feel also after you eat. Do you feel clumsy? Do you feel like, okay, when I eat banana in the morning, my brain is sharp. I don't feel sleepy, but I think it's going to be a little bit of, intentional eating, intentionally doing things for a while to get the keto diet. Also, she also talked about intermittent fasting. You do long fasting, but she even says that even when you fast for a little while, like maybe for 6 hours, your body goes into ketos right there. So that's something I'm thinking also to incorporate more often. Maybe you eat a good breakfast and then you really wait till 6 hours. Your body is already burning calories to send to your brain to even metabolize that the right way. But we have to be careful what we are eating because that is the key thing with this book. So I think it's just intentionally doing things a little bit more. She also talked about insulin resistance. I personally, I am kind on the edge when it comes to my A1C. And I am, it's true, there's never been any trace of diabetic, but like she explained, you may even have it without even knowing. Your test may be all right. So it really depends on how also you're feeling. When you start feeling too tired, that means the glucose is not being put in the right place out of your bloodstream to be able to be metabolized the right way to be used into your brain. She talked about insulin resistance. So we really have to be we have to be very conscious of how we're doing things. Me personally, I don't think long diet helps me. I've done it with you for a long time. I feel like when I'm done with a long diet, it's like my metabolism is open up a wide, I don't know, water. And then I keep eating. And before I know, I get back to where I was. And even the stress that my body is carrying. So I'm thinking intermittent diet, go back to things that keto diet that is good for the brain, inject those stuff into my diet, and really also watch how my body reacts to fruits and stuff. And so, but isolate completely sugar. The much as we can, the better for our body. Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
No
thank you
problem.
very much. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a quick uh, two things to mention: insulin resistance, and then the other one is. Did you say 16? It seems to me that she said 16 hours fasting instead of 6.
Intermittent fasting, can
Yeah.
intermittent fasting be
Yes.
16 hours?
Yeah, she said when you eat, you eat, for example, at 6. I'm just giving that example. You eat at 6 p.m., for example, and you don't eat anything. 6 a.m. is already 12 hours, and then noon you eat.
Mm.
It to
Mm.
make it 16 hours. It's still intermediate
Yes.
fasting. Yeah, but she mentioned it's 16 hours, 16 hours, because 6 hours is just normal. There's no fasting there.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Okay,
lady
but
says say after 6 hours, body start using the keto.
exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, your body start using the ketone, but
Yeah, or
16
your
hours
brain start
fasting,
using the ketone. It's
ketone. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Those are the things. And now, when I come to my own thing, the demystification, the way she explained about meats, okay, and then she debunked the theory about the vegan diet, okay, and then also uh, the clear explanation of how we should adjust. It is obvious that sugar, refined grain are not good for us. Okay. And then trying to find one's own diet, either using one of those quiet, either the quiet paleo or paleo, quiet keto, or quiet carnivore, adjusting them will be to find what works best for anyone will be a very good thing. Now, when it comes to my own learning or takeaway from this is I was brought into using dairy because of vitamin D deficiency in my body. The doctor that I was having a nutritionist when I was in corporate, following me specifically, spending so much of money, when he told me that our body normally try to block sunlight because we have too much in Africa. That is how we were. But finding ourselves, in the northern the, hemisphere with less sunlight compared to how we were close to the equator, we have to expose ourselves more to sunlight or consume dairy. And that led me into consumption of dairy. But I realized that it might not be good for me, as she tend to not to advise it at all. So I have to control it. But very good book. I really, really enjoy it. Didn't finish. I'm left with the last chapter, but it is very good. If anyone didn't go through it completely, we should try to do it. And thank you very much for whoever suggested it.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
okay. I will go in quickly. Um, First of all, I want to thank Christelle for the great presentation. She went through everything, through the book, and all the points. So one thing I want to highlight here is my key takeaway is uh, to have a healthy brain and a healthy body. We need to avoid highly processed food, all the highly processed food. So I'm thinking of flour, they are processed. Sugar, especially the white sugar, they are processed as well. All these uh, burger patty that is already cooked. When you buy your own meat and
Grind it.
grind it, you know that it's not processed, right? But when you buy the patty already cooked, it's processed. So avoiding that because they have partially hydrogenated fats that clog our arteries, right? And it can be the arteries going to the brain. It can be the artery going to the heart or the kidneys. And when the blood doesn't flow well, those cells start dying. That's when we start seeing problem and including brain fog and all of that. So avoiding highly processed food. Now she uh, talk about keto diet. I'm not against her. However, many people I know that went through keto diets, it did not help them. They did not lose the weight. Or when they lose it, few months later they gain all of the weight and more. So for me, my takeaway uh, is eating everything but in moderation, right? You come to your vegetable or your fruit, you eat in moderation, and keep in mind what can increase my insulin, because she mentioned that high insulin is not good for the body. What can increase my insulin? Even our fruits like oranges can increase drastically our insulin. Uh, what is mango, pineapple, those are high in fructose and they can increase our insulin. So keeping that in mind, when I want to eat those fruits, I have to eat them in moderation. High vegetable, right? High vegetable, vegetable, they don't increase our insulin that high. So I'll eat my spinach, okra, and all of that. Even our fufu, it is high in flour. So we have to eat those in moderation. Uh, what else? The vegan diet, I really like how she talk about the vegan diet, because it lacks some main nutrients that we get from animal products. So when we want to eat, we can eat a little bit of those animal products as well to get few of those nutrients that we need. So in general, I really like the book. It's come to remind us that what we eat is what we are. And from that, I'm making my mind on having any food that can increase my blood insulin when the digestion starts, which are the high carb food. Even fruits, some fruit has high carb. Don't so let's be mindful of that when we are eating fruits and when we are eating fruit. High vegetable is very good. Most of the vegetable don't increase our insulin sharply, so it's good to eat a lot of vegetable. And yeah, those are my key takeaway. So yeah, and all food will improve our brain, our heart, our in our body in general. So thank you again, guys, for whoever suggests the book, and thank you, Christelle, for the presentation.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Tata
Yeah.
Colomb.
We have 15 minutes left or 13 left. I don't know, Shirel, Beyond, Giovannia, if anyone wants to contribute or you have a question.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go. Not a lot to say. I will just speak on my personal experience. I did like whenever I transitioned towards drinking a lot more water, my health started feeling a lot better, and a lot of the logic behind what she says in the book makes sense, right? What you put in your body affects you, right? And I will say the one thing I'm hesitant on is the idea that the mainstream dietary advice is bad, right? Because oftentimes they create general advice just to fit like the average person, and the person who would arguably know your health best is the person with the access to the data from your test, right? Your doctor. So I I like the I like the application of like how we they talk. She talks about how if we don't acknowledge diet in how we treat people's health deficiencies or like their illnesses, right? Then oftentimes we end up back where we started. But again, I've always been hesitant on like, oh, what everyone else is saying is bad because like there's always the someone wants to say something against the norm just to make money or to be popular. But I can tell that this author is saying things to help people. So that's it from me.
Thank you,
you.
Chire. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shirel.
Ms. Shrell.
Still open, Chire, Beyond or Giovanni, or I don't know if Steve is here or not.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So Beyond, do you have anything? Or Giovanni was about to talk before.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
And thank you, Council Crystal, for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Reading this book remind me that my brain is also one of my body's organ and that it needs to be taken care of. And also, I learned that um, I shouldn't follow trends when it's come to food or dieting. It's important to listen to my body and to know what my body tolerates and doesn't tolerate. So, and thank you for this book. It's I finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Thank you.
Yeah. You say a lot in short. You say a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Beyond, do you want to go in? If you want to.
I don't really have anything to say, but I will thank Christelle for the
Thank you, Beyond.
Thank you, Beyond. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
I do have a quick question.
Go ahead.
The peanut. Anyway, it seems I have an answer to my question though, because she said seed oils. Now, does it mean the nuts oil, including peanuts, is good, or we could consider peanut oil like seed oil?
I'm guessing so. I don't think she said anything. She said seed oils. So I'm guessing peanut is one of the good ones. Unless someone else has anything. I didn't hear her say anything regarding that.
Yeah.
I would say that if we want to classify the oils,
Mm.
peanut oil is better than any other soybeans oil or this
Yeah.
one. So it's
Okay.
better, but it's a matter of classification. If you
Okay.
want the best, is olive oil, and peanut oil is good as well. But now, when that is good, we have to remember how do they come up with that oil.
Okay. The kind of
Yes, because
how
the
it
way
is extracted. Yeah.
the way they do it in back home is manual,
Mhm.
so they don't use any chemical. Here they want it faster, and they use chemical called hexane. Is HEXANE. Hexane is from petroleum. It's from petroleum.
Oh,
So
I do know that. I
yeah,
know how it
put it
is used
in
to
so that
stimulate anything to extract the
yes,
oil out of it. Yeah.
yes. So that's
Okay.
the bad side of it. It's not the oil itself,
Mhm.
because they will sell you anything, say that is healthier. But when you see the ingredient that sometimes they don't even disclose, you'll be amazed. I was looking
Okay.
a documentary that they were looking for a red color in food,
Mm.
and they go and get some how should I say, some, come on, some
Inserts.
yeah,
Insects.
insect, yeah, cactus insect in Peru. And when they kill them, those insects turn to be red, and they call it E2O5, something like that. So imagine that you're using that, or to get the bread to be very, very elastic and very doughy, they'll put hair inside. So there are a lot of things that we are eating and we don't even know what we are eating. If I could quickly go back to the diet that you asked, you say which one will be better. There's no one that is better. It's the one that you can support. And doing most of them, I did fasting, I did carnivore, I did keto, I did this one. I think we had to go back to the water. Because when I'm on fasting or carnivore, sometimes I feel headache that I have to eat, so we had to remember to go for the water first. Because I'm on that water fast now, or water thing, and I don't remember to eat. But when I was fasting, my head is bouncing, so for Christelle, I advise you, if you want to go for the keto diet, but try to drink water and with a little bit of salt to retain the water in your body. Because what I'm realizing is that we think that we're drinking, but we are still thirsty. And when you are thirsty, your brain needs that blood to flow, so it starts bouncing. And your eyes as well, when it's dry, it starts getting red.
Dry eyes.
Sometimes I'm here for 14 hours, 15 hours, and I don't even feel headache, which is something that I know. So I will advise those kind of things. So there is fasting, which is the best one, is the best diet. Carnivore, keto diet, paleo, Mediterranean, and standard American diet. This is the bad one. And if you don't control your sugar, you will be always hungry. So no matter of what you are doing in the diet, you will be hungry. For the milk, it's not good at all for adult people. Why? Because in milk they have three sugar, three type of sugar. They have lactose, they have saccharose, and they have glucose. So there are three sugar in the milk. So when you are drinking, that's why anyone on milk will grow faster. So it's not good for adults.
What about low fat, or sometimes they say free fat milk? Because I think milk is still calcium, and one thing
Let me advise you on that one, even though that I'm not an expert in that domain.
Nutritionist.
And you are is in your field, but we are teaching ourselves here. You can go for calcium in milk without drinking milk. And where do you get that one is from the cheese.
Okay.
Don't go for the fresh cheese. Don't go for the one we are custom in Benin that they call warangashi or something. Don't go for those ones. Go for the one
The farmer.
is the what?
The farmer cheese.
No, I'm not talking about that. The fermented one.
Okay, or the old ones.
Yeah, the one that when you smell, you might run from the house. Yes, those. Why? Because
all the sugar is gone.
Yes, they have time to those germs, those living
organisms.
Eating already, and then
the
you
bacteria.
Yes, and you can use it, which is good for the stomach as well. So definitely for the calcium, go for that one, but not the milk, please. Not the milk. Please.
Yeah. Okay. What about because I was told not to drink milk, but I didn't know all the way till the fat-free milk and stuff is something that is not good. What about they talk about almond milk? They talk
about milk though.
They are not milk.
That's processed food. I would say it's processed.
No, they are processed, and also when they are saying almond milk, please, they are not talking
It's
all the truth here, because sometimes they thicken with
Other
flowers,
substances so that we don't.
so
flowers.
that is,
Yeah.
yeah, so that is making, so
Oh,
if
we
you
can be fair to say almost almond juice because they are squeezed out of almond.
no, don't
Mm.
come here.
But by calling it milk, no, I'm just saying that by calling it milk is
Ah,
the way to sell it
yes,
and then
are
to
you
use it as a
have you been
vegetable.
preyed by the lobbyists? Are you the milk lobbyists here? Yeah, definitely. In
Yeah,
France, they don't call it that. Is
yeah.
even forbidden to say that. So we are not going to that route. But what I can tell you is that when they process them, they put more things, and when
Hmm.
that things doesn't reach 0.1%, they are not even obliged to state
To
on
mention
the
it. Yeah.
box.
Mm, mm,
So there are a lot of things that they are like hexane. You will never see oil that they mention hexane. Why? Because they will say that it's only 0.001 or zero. But still, when it gets to your body, the body doesn't know what is there. We start packing them, start putting them, and we get sick.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that Dr. Aid did mention is not to be afraid to read labels. And I know sometimes it's true, they may not write everything on the label, but at least it gives you an idea. Let's
Yes.
say you take peanut oil, you
Mhm.
may be reading several of them, and then you don't see those arsenate or those petroleum type in one, and that may be the one you may pick. You
Yeah.
know, I know food is very tricky here,
Yeah.
and I use personally to trust when it says FDA approved, it says this, but I think I need to be reading what
Yes.
really is into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you say low fat diet, you know, the item is there. So as soon as they remove the fats, they have to put something in so that it can be more tasty.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
another thing that they did, even me too. I remember that there's a butter called
A lot
margarine,
of
Hmm.
it.
and it was so tasty. When you get a bread and with that butter, oh my goodness, you are in not knowing that is very, very, very bad for our health, because they were taking the oily, the running oil, and put more hydrogen in
In Italy.
to make it as
So
hardened,
that's only
and is what they are calling butter.
Hmm.
And the real butter, they don't want it because they how they want to use it for something else, or they are fighting with those things. So definitely, I believe that this book come to
ingredient
confirm the one
olive
we
oil
used
is
before, a obesity code. I think we read
Yes.
the book. Yeah, it
Yes. Yes.
came
Obesity code.
to confirm everything
Yes,
that
I
had been
agree.
definitely there. So I was so happy, and I feel like we are going there because of the internet, because of the openness of information now.
Mm.
We are getting there. There's no
Yeah.
more lines saying, "Oh, this is best food." No, no, no. To be
Okay,
honest.
so now
Okay.
two quick question before we go, if you don't mind. Yeah. So you advise not to have any dry fasting. I think so. Now, beside
I didn't say
two
that. If you
people.
can support the
Okay.
headache, because it gives
Okay.
a lot of headache. Trust me, I know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
agree. I know what you're talking about too.
Mhm.
I definitely agree. Now, my second thing is, sister, when I asked Christelle about her choice of diet, I was I thought she was going to come out with keto diet,
Mhm.
but Sister Colomb also went against it, and you tend to suggest that to Christelle, and I could second that because I witnessed her uh, go through keto diet in the past, and it was
Mhm.
very effective to her. And
Mhm.
I knew, and she may, second or testify that. But
Mhm.
reading this and keto diet that she said, it went straight with what she did with meat, egg, fish, and the minimal, or low carb. She mentioned it even more precise now, low carb veggies. So I saw Christelle went through, go through that kind of diet before, and she was unbelievable back in shape without being hungry. So I'm not sure if she figured it out when she was reading this, but I suspected it might be a very good thing to her if she stick to it or retry it strictly.
Yeah, thank you, Amore.
So
Yeah.
let me mention something though. Keto diet is a diet high in fat, little meat,
Oh,
and she mentioned it high in fat, a little meat, mostly fats like cheese and all the thing, because
Yeah.
meat and all of that are protein and protein, right? Yeah, from animals. So the keto is mostly fat. So that's how the body process the fat to turn into ketone.
Yeah. And when she talks about fat, she's telling us key things to eat because there are fats in fats. They're good for your brain to be able to utilize the energy out of it to sustain your energy without you be angry, hungry, without you be having headache and stuff like that, to really
Right.
nurture your brain to the best ability. Yeah.
Yes.
but
So
I do
what
have
I was saying is
go
when
ahead.
Charlie said that Christelle was eating meat
Hmm.
and no carb.
Meat, egg, fish.
Eggs, right. All of those are
Hmm.
protein. They are not
Hmm.
fats.
Yeah.
They are protein, and those protein can be metabolized into
Yeah.
carb in the body.
Okay, I
Exactly.
see. No, she said, how did she say soft? Oh, she used a
Quiet.
quiet. Okay, quiet keto, quiet paleo, quiet carnivore, and I use her terminology through a GTP. I may share this with you, but when the summary of keto diet, that moderate keto diet that I got from the analysis is you should focus on meat, egg, fish, and full fat dairy, the full fat dairy. And she went against fat-free milk and so on. If you want to do as Fred Arun was saying, go with it when the bacteria the bacteria have already taken all the sugar out, and then have the fermented ingredient, sugar-free dairy. That should be great. And then she said low carb veggie. So I will share the summary that I have for the all three diets that she suggested with you guys. But it is, I believe, that what Christelle did when we were in Canada, and she lost tremendously without having to struggle at all with food, because I was envying her whenever she prepared her diet. And then I wanted to join, but anyway, regular
So,
steak and egg
So,
and all those things were
so
perfect
yeah,
for her.
I know
Yeah.
the time is we almost an hour and 3 minutes, and a
Okay.
great contribution from everyone. Um, just like most of my topic already covered for myself. Just remember, when we start this club, one of the books was telling us, don't be a follower, right? Be a learner and make personal and private decisions.
Yes.
So in this book, if we read like 3, 4, 5 books about nutrition, they might start saying stuff that opposite to the older one, right? Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day in the US here, everything is commercial, right? You'll
Yeah.
find a book to tell you, or maybe apple juice is the best drink. Another will say wine, and another will come and say water, right? And they all, because of special interest behind, it's difficult
Hmm.
to know what is true. So
Hmm.
um my takeaway, even the book didn't say, is try to have a journal, write your own situation, observation, and then you'll find the diet that is good for yourself, what is right for yourself.
Yeah.
Because the doctor cannot know, like that morning that you get up and you're so energetic, everything is okay, but 3 days later, you're like down. What happened the other day? Can you write it down? If we start journaling, we'll figure out and we'll know ourselves better than anyone. Okay, that's my main takeaway. If I want to contribute to the book, is don't to not be a follower, because if when they say meat is not good, or if people don't eat meat, it's not good for them. We have people from India. It's 10,000 year civilization, and they don't eat meat, and they say, yeah, I'll let you go in. And the same thing might be true if you go to a mountain in Greece or a mountain in Natitango, Benin. People, each area, they have their own reality. And that's why my call is to have your own journal and figure out what is good for you. Most of the diet here in the US here is a promotion to make money. And as soon as they see people are not buying anymore, they come up with a new one. And it's on all of the TV. And that's a new trend. Everyone go for that. You know, right now we have Wegovy, we have Ozempic. It's the same club. If they don't sell you the food, they sell you the drug. Right? So just make your own mind, and then you